Hello and welcome to episode 10, big 1-0 of the Cows Den podcast, hitting them double digits finally. I, of course, am Josh, and with me, as always, is Matt and Brian. Say what's up,
Not
guys.
always.
Well, yeah, I'm wrong. Yeah.
R. Kelly said it best. Age ain't nothing but a number.
Hmm.
Big
Oh,
1-0.
God. Oh, big 1-0. So as usual, we talk pop culture, comics, fringe science, all that fun jazz. I usually talk comics, and I'm going to go ahead and start off with a couple comics. What I'm going to do, so I've been having a personal problem lately. I've been trying to keep up with stuff every week, with the comics every week, but for some reason, lately, I've just been on this Robert Kirkman kick. I read all through Invincible. Now I'm reading through Walking Dead, and I am kicking myself for not reading all this shit back when it first came out because goddamn Kirkman's a good writer. Um, so I'm having been kind of struggling with keeping up each week, but what I'm going to try to start doing is a like a recap of some stuff that came out this week, and then some stuff that's coming out next week that I'm excited about. So for this week, we got Nightwing 80, the new Nightwing series. I've already mentioned this one before. I showed Matt off this cover. This 78. Tom Taylor came in and took over, and he has been doing an awesome job. It's feels like good old fashioned Nightwing again. He's back in Bloodhaven. He's back to just being Nightwing. It's no Agent Grayson or Rick Grayson or any of that stuff. It's just Dick being Dick. Um, as of right now, though, there's somebody who is going around ripping motherfuckers' hearts out, and so he's trying to run through the city and see who's doing it. Um, First couple issues, 78 and 79, when he came back, were kind of just him like settling back in, but now he's like actually back in it. He's working on the case. He's trying to figure out what's going on. We got a couple of pretty dope villains. This one, Tim, I believe that's Tim. Drake shows up. Yeah, I believe that's Tim. Anyway, yeah, his the series is great. The series is cool. It's been fun. I like Tom Taylor as a writer. The artwork is beautiful. It's got this kind of what I like about it, and I can't really share this right now, but what I like about it is some of the shading on it is done through just dots, like dot work. I mean, which is like kind of rare nowadays. You don't see a whole lot of dot work. It's usually cross hatching and stuff like that. That's those are fancy artistic words for you guys. I don't know if you guys know any of that stuff.
I remember learning cross hatching and shading in
Cross hatching,
art
shading, yeah.
class. I
But
remember that now.
it's cool because it's like a lot of the stuff is done like I said, it's done with like dots. Here, let me see if I can share this to show you guys real quick. We'll see if you guys see that.
I think I'm. Yep.
So like right through like here, a lot of that shading and stuff is just these dots. So I just like it. I don't know. I think it's cool. Kind of gives it kind of a poppy vibe. I don't know. I don't know, but I just like it. I think the artwork is clean, it's cut, beautiful. Um, it's a good story too, though. The other thing is the Batman Fortnite still going on. This time he runs into Snake Eyes. Batman, if you guys don't know, has been, I mean, I'm sure everybody and their mom who reads comics right now has heard about the Batman Fortnite crossover. Um,
Uh,
well, it's fucking Fortnite. And so it's like you got the kids who are super pumped for it, the Batman fans who are kind of like, really? Fortnite? Really, guys? Really? Like, personally, I hate being like that. Fortnite's fucking popular as hell. There's no way of escaping it. Just embrace it.
they've already had Marvel.
Quit being an old man and being all, oh, when I was little, there weren't any fucking video games. So, but dude, it's like that's. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I went into it the whole story with the mentality of, man, this is kind of, but it's been great. It's been great. The story's been cool. In this one, the big thing is that let me see here. Let's share this again. Big thing for this one is boom, Snake Eyes, like GI Joe Snake Eyes, and dude, it's like it's pretty badass. He's look at some of this artwork, these fights, dude. Come on,
It
come
is.
on. How can you not like that? But yeah, surprisingly good. Story's been good. The artwork is great again. But yeah, I mean, Nightwing and Batman Fortnite were some great ones for this past week. Those are the DCs. Let me see what else I got here lined up. Oh, Wonder Girl. Wonder Girl started. Yara Flor was the future state Wonder Woman. It's not Diana. Diana's going through a whole thing where she's like a god now. And I don't know why they're giving her. Oh, because they have a different person being Wonder Woman, and I'm blanking on her name right now. So they're giving Yara Flor the title of Wonder Girl. But fucking Yara Flor is just beautiful in my opinion. Those are the DCs. I again not huge fan of Marvel personally. There were a couple Marvels to come out this week. There's Wolverine, Amazing Spider-Man still going. Immortal Hulk, which was actually a pretty good one. I talked about that one time. Immortal Hulk is actually surprisingly good. It kind of keeps like a horror aspect to it. But yeah, didn't read any of those this week. Also from Image, we got the Radiant Black #4. Radiant Black is like a new superhero-ish story. Dude sees a black hole right outside a bar that he's at night, and then kind of touches it and gets this crazy like Power Rangers looking suit that just forms over him. And they're on issue 4 of that. You find out he's not the only one who's got the powers. There's bad guys who got the powers too. He's fighting this red dude. Man, I didn't read this week's issue on that, if I'm being honest. So his suit is blue, but he's fighting a guy who's got a red suit of the same aspect, like the same thing. So it's like, I'm assuming they just did blue and red to be like, oh yeah, well, so you know who's good and bad, because blue versus red is like classic, let me see if I got a share I can do for that.
It's the Bloods versus the Crips, mofo.
I just think red versus blue. Some good old Halo. Let's see here.
What other comic book heroes?
I've not read this issue. Damn, there's some shit going on in this one. So let me get another share screen here, so for anybody who's watching can see it. So red guy's the bad guy. Hello, Nathan. And this is the good guy.
Looks pretty cool.
Yeah, let's talk. There you go. So he's the good one, the blue one. I said I did not read this issue, so yeah, kind of Tron meets Power Rangers. But from what I read of the first 3 issues, it's good. I honestly have not caught up to read this week's issue, but it's been a good story so far. Definitely recommend checking it out. Radiant Black. Another one is Ultra Mega. That one was that big kaiju fights, giant warriors versus kaijus. That's really fucking good. Again, did not read this week's yet because I'm a little behind right now, thanks to freaking Robert Kirkman. So I will reiterate, they did come out with Walking Dead Deluxe #15 this week, but I will reiterate, if you have not, and I know I'm the one who's behind on here, but if you have not read Invincible, you've not read Walking Dead, you're being fucking stupid. These are some of the best stories I think I've ever read, and I can't believe I haven't read them until now. But then as far as next week goes, we got some stuff releasing this coming week. We usually release these on Saturdays. So this coming Wednesday, there's been a few things that I am personally excited about that maybe I could try to push you guys off on. Oh, the other one was Justice League. Justice League's been pretty good. That started, the 61 was this past week. That new story, Matt, it started with those Zack Snyder Justice League covers. Remember those? That's like the new
I picked some up.
Right, that's like their new story arc, and it's got it's Brian Michael Bendis, and they have not Shazam, Black Adam joining the team, which is weird, but it works. It's pretty cool. Okay, so this next week we got the new Robin story that started actually on my birthday. So I grabbed the #1 for that. It's weird. It's Damian Wayne. He's trying to join this Lazarus League tournament to prove that he's strong enough to be part of the Lazarus, basically prove that he's stronger than the League of Assassins and stronger than Batman, that he's strong enough to kind of be on his own. That's what he's trying to prove. Now at the end of the first issue, the second issue comes out next week. At the end of the first issue, this girl named Flatline just straight rips his heart out. So I have no idea how the fuck they're going.
Damian Wayans?
Yeah. Straight rips his heart out. The very last frame is her holding his heart, and she's like, oh yeah, one thing we didn't tell you about the League of their Lazarus tournament. We fight to the death, and she's all holding his heart, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, wait, what?
What? So does this have something to do with the Lazarus Pit, or?
That's what I'm assuming. I mean, I'm assuming that because it's like the Lazarus League tournament, like, yeah, we fight to the death, but then you get brought back.
Right back. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, right. Like fucking Mortal Kombat style. Which I'm still expecting that for the next movie. I'm expecting Mortal Kombat to just be like, oh yeah, by the way, everybody magically got revived.
Yeah.
Shang Tsung can bring him back.
Yeah.
And there's
Scorpion is a revenant.
Last Ronin. I haven't really got to talk about the Last Ronin. I don't think I've ever really brought that one up since we started this. The Turtles, the Last Ronin. The problem with that comic is he's putting out issues every like 2 or 3 months. Like it seems like it takes forever for the next issue to come out. So issue 3 is finally coming out. If you don't know the idea for the story, I'm going to spoil a little bit of it. 3 out of the 4 turtles are dead. There was a giant attack on the turtle lair. They killed, spoiler alert, they killed Splinter. They killed off 3 of the turtles, and now there's just 1 left, and he's trying to get revenge on everybody. It's total Punisher story, but with turtles, which is crazy.
Well, who owns the turtles?
IDW is the company. IDW. It's Kevin Eastman though, and this was supposedly a Kevin Eastman story he wrote like 30 years ago, and then just never made.
Oh no, there's too kid friendly then.
Oh yeah.
That happened to the kids.
Well, and a spoiler alert: the one who survived was Michelangelo. And
Mikey.
Right, and it's like, oh, there's no more comedy left in Mikey anymore.
Yeah.
But it was a really cool. Issue 1 was cool just because you get the intro, you get to see that there's only 1 left. He's like fighting through guys in this big city. He's basically infiltrating the giant, like the Foot have basically taken over. Like they have this giant like city to themselves, and he's just going through the city destroying them.
With his nunchucks.
And it was at the very end of the first issue that you find out he's got everybody's weapons. He's got literally everybody's weapons, and so he's fighting with the sword, fighting with the bow, fighting with the size, and his nunchucks.
I like that idea.
And end of the first issue was you see April O'Neil still alive. She's all messed up, but she's still alive. And you find out that it's Mikey. The second issue showed off Raphael's fight when they first came in. They killed Splinter, and Raphael went nuts and just went on his own thing and went running after them to kill them all. And dude, he puts up the most brutal fight ever. Like it was insane. But eventually they get him. So I'm interested to see number 3. Number 3 is next week. They finally get number 3 coming out. One of the Marvel ones, I'll say, it's weird calling this Marvel, but Alien, the new Alien series, number 3 is coming out next week. Pumped for that one.
Alien as in xenomorphs, aliens?
As in aliens, yeah. I thought I showed off some of those covers to you, Brian.
Oh, you did. Yeah.
That's the first Marvel Alien story. And so far, I only read the first 2. Seems like it's been pretty good. I'm interested. I feel like it needs to flesh out a little more before I can say if I really like it or not. And then the new Department of Truth comes out next week, number 9. I think that's about it for me, though. Like I said, good stuff this week. We got a lot of good. I like DC, so I'm sure there was a few good Marvel ones, but I know that the Justice League, the Nightwing, and I forgot what else I said, are good. Next week, if you guys haven't pre-ordered stuff yet, next week I definitely recommend. Personal recommendation would be Robin number 2 is coming out. Good story. Last Ronin number 3, if you haven't gotten into that yet, is fantastic stories so far. Department of Truth and Alien. Also, fucking Walking Dead. Fucking Walking Dead. I'm so hooked on it. Like, I mean, I know I've talked about this, I think, for the past 2 or 3 episodes because I just keep bringing it up because, like, I'm kicking myself, dude. I used to, like, me and Matt talked about this, and I told him that I think the biggest reason we talked about, or well, we mentioned that. I think the biggest reason why I didn't get into it as much when it first came out, when the show started, I should say, is because nobody would shut up about it. It was one of those super hyped shows, and it had good reason to be. It was a good show, it's a good show. And I think it's the first time that we've really gotten to see. I was just saying this to Matt a few minutes like before we started, was that it's the first time I think we've really gotten to see a zombie story fleshed out for more than just a 2-hour movie,
Right.
or for like a one season show or something like that. It's the first time
I
we've
was-
really gotten to see a stretched out zombie story. And the books are just incredible. Me and Matt have argued that shows should have gone to HBO because they could have really gotten some of the graphic content from the books without having to.
Mm,
And god damn it, dude, they would have had Negan. You would have been able to use Negan being like, "Fuck these fucking motherfuckers, you fucking piece of fucking shit," like rather than just being like, "Oh, you little bitch," like like.
Well,
I
yeah,
love
and
Jeffrey
the
D. Morgan.
brutality.
I love Jeffrey D. Morgan. So I'm not saying anything about him. You want to talk an incredible casting.
Yeah.
just censored him.
I just mean, yeah, they censored him, and that's that is what it is. Yeah, I got that. I'm gonna rock my.
But there's getting ready to be another spinoff too, isn't Daryl getting a spinoff?
Yeah,
don't know.
Daryl and Carol are going to be getting a spinoff at the end of the main show. And then they're continuing on with World Beyond and Fear.
So
I think I've only caught up on season 9. I haven't gotten past that.
I'm starting from scratch. I'm towards the end of season 3, so we got the Governor going on right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, dude, imagine the Governor on HBO. Like,
dude.
A lot of fans of the show, this is the problem that I have with them. They don't understand the brutality of that comic,
dude.
And
so,
it's just,
Brian, I don't know how much of the books you've read. Have you read any of the comics?
Maybe.
So
I've never read a full one, but I've looked at it.
There's a scene in the show where the governor has Glenn in a room, and it's actually, what's his name? It's actually Merle, who's beating the shit out of him, just beating the shit out of him. Maggie's got to sit in the room next door, hearing that. She's got to hear him getting the shit beat out of him, right? In the comics, the governor gets Michonne, and he doesn't just fucking beat her. It's Michonne and Glenn. He takes Michonne into this fucking room, has Glenn next door, has her chained up, and fucking rapes the shit out of her, beats the shit out of her, to the point where he's making Glenn listen to all this so that he'll crack.
Yeah. And I mean, it's to the point where I remember him saying, "Oh, it's okay to cry. You've earned it." Like he's so brutal and
so brutal.
Yeah.
And like in the show, it's just nowhere near. And I mean, I get it. It's network TV. They want to make sure that they don't go overboard with it. But
I doubt AMC will ever give that up either.
But like the intensity of that book.
Well, and I talked a little bit to Josh about this, about how I feel like part of the reason why they didn't get to HBO was because they already had a Game of Thrones show.
Right.
And that they were working on getting, and they knew that was going to be brutal and
big too. They're probably spending a lot of money on it.
Yeah.
But no, and so it makes it that much more badass too, because when they get out and they're like, all right, we're gonna escape this place now. Michonne's like, give me a fucking minute, and then she walks up, dude. And even that, she goes up to the governor, she straight knocks him out, and then he wakes up and he is. Arms are chained to the ground. He's on his knees, and his dick is nailed to the floor. And she straight lops his arm off, like rips his dick off, stabs him in the eye. Like, oh, it's so brutal. It's so brutal. And like, and I'm not just saying, oh, we need more gore, we need more of that. It just adds to the intensity of the situation. I feel like the intensity of the situation in the show,
the degrading of society.
I'm constantly like, okay, that was good, but the book was so much more intense.
Yeah.
So I'm done.
If you pay attention, you'll notice. I was gonna say the zombies. They like the first season. They start getting more gnarly looking as the seasons go along too.
They've been out there,
right?
Yeah.
I just thought that was cool how they did that.
Well, and it's cool too. They bring that up in the books one time. They're like these motherfuckers weren't smart enough to stay out of the sun, so eventually their skin just kind of burned off. Like. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. I'm done with my little rant. I'm so mad at myself for being so far behind on Walking Dead. for being behind on Kirkman in general. I've always liked Kirkman, but I've never really invested the time into him, and I'm fucking mad at myself for that. So, but I'm done. Brian, get your
Yeah. So I'm going to talk about a specific person that nobody's probably really ever heard of, but he's got the most documented ET contacts, evidence, abduction, all this stuff. And well, like I said, you haven't heard of him. I'll get to that later. Why you haven't heard
because
from
the
him?
Government shut his ass down.
Pretty much, but they did it in their typical way. And I'm going to ask you guys. I'm curious if you guys can figure out which way. Well, let's just do it now. What's the best way to discredit somebody?
Just tell them.
Like they could be the best person in the entire world. Well, they could be like the number one person in the entire world, and then what can they be accused of?
Child rapist.
Well, there you go. Okay, so that's government textbook when people kind of come out with stuff like that. They're just like, oh, we found child pornography on their computer.
Oh, yeah,
So now you're just discredited. You're a horrible person. Blah blah blah.
But cancel cultured.
Right. Oh, you've disabled participant screen sharing.
No, don't lie. But anyway, how the fuck do I do that?
You've done it again.
I don't know how. Oh, nope. Yeah, for some reason it said only hosts.
No biggie.
It should be
hurt me none.
It should be there.
Let's see. Okay, yeah, it is.
Yeah, okay. All right.
So this is his name's Stan Romanek.
He looks like a child molester, but
but yeah,
I'm sorry. So, that's
no. But he has the most documented evidence of one single person when it comes to ETs, abductions, alien implants in his body, all sorts of stuff like that.
Oh, but he's been probed, all right.
Yeah. So he started experiencing his first alien experience was back in 2000, and it was a flying saucer. He immediately took footage of it. After that, things just kind of started to snowball to where he was seeing them almost daily. He would get pictures of them daily, video evidence of them. And
aliens, right? You're saying?
Well, UFOs. We'll get to
the aliens. Oh, okay.
We'll get to the aliens.
Fucking John
but he's got over 195 documented evidence, whether it's a video, a picture,
whatever. Yeah,
right, stuff like that. So he started thinking he was crazy, and he actually started to get people to come to his house, friends and family, and they would just have gatherings. And he didn't say anything at first. He just wanted to, and then he'd be like, okay, there's something out in the sky right there. And everybody else would be like, yeah, what is that? And they'd be flashing lights, or they'd zoom by, black triangles, which is very common. After that, once people basically told him, okay, you're not crazy, we see this too. So he's got neighbors and everybody else to see things when he sees it. Basically, like, the whole joke is that when Stan tells you to come look at something, you better drop what you're doing and come look at it right away.
Right.
He started going through hypnotic regression, and he immediately started writing down diagrams and equations. Like, here's one of them right here.
Beautiful work.
I love it. But so this, like, he's not a mathematician. He was, born and raised somewhere in, I want to say California. It wasn't a good neighborhood. He had a learning disability, all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. So I don't even know what all this means. But this one right here that's what's called the Drake equation. Now, the Drake equation is basically how scientists decide.
The Drake equation.
Yeah, it's basically like, okay, this is the mathematical possibility of there being intelligent life out there. Right, the only difference is that Stan wrote times 100. That's not in the actual one. So he's getting all these diagrams. He's writing down math. It's quantum physics and all other sorts of things that basically once they showed him to actual really, really smart scientists.
They're like, there's no way this
They
dude could have known that.
but they also they can't even figure it out. But
Oh
they know
shit.
what it's they know it's hinting at faster than light travel and even possible wormholes to get from one place to another. But even they, when they look
So
at
like
it,
light
they
speed and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
they can't even figure it out. Where is it? Another thing is that he started writing down uh, ancient Aramaic and Sumeric symbols.
Okay.
So I'll show this one real quick. It's always so long. I just need to start doing slideshows. Not that one. Okay, so here it is. So these right here are ancient Syriac and Aramaic symbols, cuneiform writing basically.
Right.
But once you decode them, this is like, if you can figure that out,
PR pulse. I don't know.
propulsion.
Oh, I'm dumb. Yeah.
So that's basically like what was he wrote that above where is that one at? Or he wrote that one on below a big mathematical equation. And so basically what it's saying is that
Ew.
if we as humans can figure all this out, we can figure out how they're propelled. And I don't know what the little donut with the arrow is, or the little
That's the butthole.
whirlwind
black hole.
thing, and the headphones or nipple ring, whatever you want to say that is.
That's definitely a nose ring.
Bullhorn. Looks like a nipple ring to me. Improvise.
Oh god. Ew.
Uh
Check out Marty 5.
yeah. It's a good movie. White Zombie's in it too.
Yeah.
He actually started getting phone calls from a lady with a British accent, kind of explaining to him that you do not know who you are and how important you are. Now, when he went through his regressions, he started remembering that basically they are messing with his genetics, and not just his, but he also remembers there being another lady in the room with him. And he actually eventually found this lady, and they didn't know each other, but once they saw each other, they immediately recognized one another and realized that they'd known each other, and they started talking to each other. They had some kind of bond that was very strong. And this guy was married. His wife didn't like it, but she also believed him. Like, she's seen all the things that she's seen, and like, it wasn't a sexual thing or anything like that, but she was jealous. But eventually she got over it. He's got a
connection with somebody else,
right? Yeah, she didn't like that. You should be able to hear it. I'm going to try and play one of her names. I think her name's Audrey is what they called her. Can you hear that?
Negative. Nope.
Can't hear it.
Nope. Can't hear nada. I hear you.
Damn.
Then I hear Matt.
I wonder why that's
being a little bitch.
Well, that sucks. I was hoping I'd be able to do that.
Well, do you have like, I was gonna say, with your phone? Yeah, look it up with your phone.
Yeah.
You're there.
Yeah, that's what I was like, I got an idea.
Yeah.
A light bulb.
Ding. So
sponsors. We gotta get sponsors for times like this.
I was about to say, while we're waiting, you heard of this? What's it called, Matt?
Roman wipes.
Roman wipes.
Roman wipes.
No, Matt, didn't I send you one? What was the one that I sent you? I was like, shit, I think we found a new sponsor. What was it called? Oh, it was something like.
Oh, I can't remember.
Oh no, I sent you something saying, bro, I think I found a new sponsor, and you were like, oh shit, yeah, there we go.
Well, like I said,
yeah, good.
No, I was gonna say we need to do an episode where we just do weird crap like that.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
All right, now hopefully you can hear this.
Oh yeah. Wait,
is that too loud?
It's a little.
Press 9. More options. Press 0. Urgent message. I apologize for being so forward. It did not take us long to get your phone numbers. Well, surveillance is mostly for passive monitoring, but
What the fuck?
it does come in handy. I cannot tell you who I am for safety reasons, but I can tell you that your perceptions of Stan Romanek and his experiences are real. As you have probably noticed, Stan is slightly different. The way he thinks, the way he perceives the world seems to be a little more advanced than usual. The interesting thing is that Stan has no idea who he really is.
What the fuck?
So you heard that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So there's
Stan
there's
has
other
no
ones
idea who
too.
he really is.
Colorado Springs was not a good idea. It seems you have moved them to their backyard. Now it's easy for them to get to you. I know how stubborn your Starseed is, please. Heed this warning, and know that Lisa and the children are at risk also. Now listen, Starseed. You know you are different. Follow your instincts and stay alert. This is too important. Soon it will all be revealed. And Starseed, do not be afraid of what you are.
So the lady keeps calling him Starseed, telling him he's different and that he shouldn't be afraid of, basically trusting his instincts. When she just warned him, she said it's nice that you're back in Colorado, but you're in their backyard and it's easier for them to get to you. She's talking about the government. And shortly after he got that call, he was being followed by, blacked out cars, and eventually they caught up to him when he was going to his work, and they got out of the car. They told him, you need to keep your mouth shut. And he was like, well, I'm not going to do that. This is too important. And there's 4 of them, I think he said. One of them gets out and starts, trying to beat him up, but he had his bike chain with him. So he pulls that out, starts swinging it around, and eventually they tased him, but they made a spectacle of themselves, and they actually called the cops because they saw what was going on. They saw him getting his ass kicked. They filed a police report. Even like a good Samaritan tried to follow the car, but they lost the car. So he does have evidence that even the government was trying to shut him up then. And he started getting calls from, he started remembering in his regressions that he has 9 children, but they're not his children. They are hybrids, is what he said. They're all hybrids.
Okay.
Actually, I'm not going to show that phone call. You can't even hear it. But when he actually has a picture of what he believes his daughter when he went to one of his TED Talk type seminar thingy.
Yeah.
So this is supposed to be what he thinks is his daughter. And as you can tell, her giant almond eyes, kind of, flat lifted up nose. And they got a picture of her hands too. Apparently her hands. Spockish. Yeah, exactly. And apparently her hands are kind of like, she's got longer fingers than normal, and they couldn't tell, but they thought she had a 6th finger as well, which that's kind of an alien thing, and giants, ancient Nephilim that I've talked about before. And then I'll show this real quick. So he's gotten a bunch of implants too. I couldn't find a lot of pictures of the implants, unfortunately. Okay. But I'll see if I can start with this. Shut the door, please.
Matt, I want to say that sponsor thing was like
hold on one second.
Yeah, I want to say that sponsor thing was like smooth balls or something like that, and it was like a shaving thing. Taking a quick break from Brian. Brian's got some personal issues going on here, so
now that you're saying it, it's I can't remember the name of it, but it was something to do with smooth balls.
It was like shaving cream or something like that.
So this is one of his implants he got. So he tore his like ACL, ECL, whatever. He tore it.
Right.
And a couple of days before he's supposed to have surgery, his wife said that she noticed there was an impression in the front lawn and to come look at it. And he got up and looked at it and was like, okay, yeah, whoop-de-doo. And she was just looking at him like, do you notice anything? He was like, yeah, there's a giant circle in the front yard. Who cares? And she was like, you're standing, you're walking normal. And he was just kind of like, yeah, I am. And look down, he sees those 4 little holes right there, 4 little pricks right there. And basically he was healed overnight. He called
Oh,
his
shit.
doctor when he was the day of the surgery. He called his doctor and was like, I can't come in. I don't need to. And the doctor was like, look, if you don't do this now, you're never going to walk again for the rest of your life. You have to come have surgery. And he's like, I'm telling you, I don't need it. And she said, well, I have an acquaintance at the emergency room. You need to go to the emergency room. He's going to tell you the same thing. So he went to the emergency room. He did the x-rays and called the doctor and was like, his ECL is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. So here's another one. Like they decided to start doing a lot of blacklight implant or photos. And he
Right.
always has like where he says it hurts, like you can see glowing things. I'll show you these too. Like these are photos of aliens that he's actually gotten like peeking in his house. There's another one too where he has an implant, and when you put it under black light, it glows. And eventually they disappear. He tried to go get one taken out, but the
It just
day
dissolved.
the night before, it was gone. Let's see. Yeah. So the guys, unfortunately, back in 2014, he turned himself in. They filed a warrant or whatever they are to come to jail. So the Department of Homeland Security was doing an 8-month investigation on him. Now, this is when they found the child pornography, and they were arresting him for that. Now, I don't know how the Department of Homeland Security has anything to do with something like that,
Right.
but because I always thought the DHS was more so like we keep terrorists from getting into America and we stop stuff like that from happening. But I don't
So
know.
let me chime in with one thing. So you want to
Yeah.
know who certifies elevators?
Department of Homeland Security.
So I was sorry, I hate to cut in and side note, but
I want you
I
guys
was
to
at
do
work.
that.
I was at work, and Department of Homeland Security, 2 guys, big buffy dudes, all decked out, come walking in, and it says Department of Homeland Security. I'm like, what are you here for?
What do we do?
And lo and behold, they're there to certify the elevator that we have. Like, it's just nuts. So
Huh.
That's
it's
Well,
crazy.
Like I said, I
crazy.
don't know exactly what DHS does, but apparently, they're pretty broad if they have to check the elevators. Escalators too, probably.
And then yeah,
Um,
apparently hooking in some child porn stuff. Apparently, like, yeah,
But
no, that's crazy though, dude.
another incident he had was he started setting up cameras around his house. Well, he caught footage of a big bright light slowly coming towards the camera, and then the camera cuts out. Now, he didn't. The next morning when he woke up and he finally saw the footage. Actually, this happened the night before his leg was healed. And or was it? No, it was another one. But when he goes outside, he's looking at the side of the house, and the side of the house where the light hit the camera is bleached white. Like you can see it's still dirty, but it's like a perfect little arc oval thing on the siding of the house. Well, the same day, a company shows up. It's called Bob's Siding of whatever.
Oh, right. It's conveniently.
Yeah, and they start removing the siding, and he goes up to them. He immediately is like, this isn't right, and he starts recording.
Mm-hmm.
And he's asking these guys, hey guys, what time is it? What are you doing here?
It's time for lunch.
And they would never look at him directly in the face. They would answer him, but they had their backs to him at all times.
There's there's either a documentary about this guy or
yes, there is. That's I was gonna promote it.
That. I remember hearing that.
I was gonna promote it at the end.
I've seen that video. It's messed up.
Yeah, so he's like talking to these guys, and they answer the date, they answer what time it is, and they say, oh, well, your landlord called and told us we had to come remove the siding. And he was like, okay, couldn't really do anything about it. He went to go grab a piece of the siding, and he said they started, freaking out, saying, oh, you can't do that. We have to have every piece to prove to your landlord that we actually replaced the siding, blah, blah, blah. So eventually he did sneak a little piece of it. I don't really know exactly what happened after that.
Nobody does, Brian.
But eventually later that day, or the next day, he called his landlord and asked his landlord, hey, did you call this company to come out and replace the siding? And he goes, no. He said, I
He
never
goes-
did that. And then they looked up the company, and the company doesn't exist.
I did not.
So what do you say?
No, I was just trying to be all alien. No, I did not call for the sighting. So what's
But
the guy's
either
name
way,
again?
Stan Romanek.
Stan Romanek.
Roma, Romanek. Either way, I think the guy has got so much. He has the biggest mountain of evidence for one single person when it comes
That
to
they just decided, you know what, fuck
E-tail.
it, it's time to
Yeah.
shut this dude down.
Yep. And then out of nowhere, like most people have never heard of the guy. And I think that's a shame. I think it's a bigger shame if he really is, child porn and into all that. But
And
at the same time, it's easy to throw somebody, discredit them, and throw them away really quick by being
bigger
like,
shame
he's
if he
a
turns out to
child
be a good
rapist,
job.
child porn.
Well, and
stuff
I
like
will
that.
say I don't remember everything with that documentary or whatever I saw with him, but I remember a lot of the information did point towards what he was saying was pretty truthful.
But no, from what I've learned now, they got him like on a 10-year intensive rehab type thing for being he's denying, that he had child porn or any of that stuff. So they got him under like a 10-year probation thing, which to me that's pretty crazy too. And obviously he has to be registered as a sex offender.
Of course.
Either way, I hope that he comes back out eventually. I hope he starts, getting more airtime, whatever you want to say, because I think he's got a lot more. He just hasn't been able to say anything. And like that's what his restrictions are. He can't use electronic devices unless he's being monitored. So it's not like he's got a mouthpiece he can use anymore. So just look into Stan Romanek. The documentary is called Extraordinary or Extraordinary. I don't know. However you like to say it. Extraordinary, the Stan Romanek story. You'll see a lot of pictures of his evidence. You'll see a lot of his own personal footage. And you'll hear from all of his friends and families and neighbors, what they think of him, what they've seen with him. And yeah, it's very interesting.
What you're
thing to
saying is
watch.
the Viltrumites are here and they're ready to start taking over. Mister, I still haven't watched
Say.
Invincible. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm gonna be doing it, I promise.
No, hey, well, that makes me not feel so bad about
Yeah, there you go.
being not caught up on Walking Dead.
I need to watch Army of the Dead too.
Yes, that's what
Zack
Matt was
Snyder's.
I thought Matt was going to bring that up. That's why. Super quick before Matt. I'm sorry, Brian. I didn't mean to interrupt. Are you?
No, I'm good. No, that's
Okay.
it. Yep, I'm done. That was my last pit.
Super quick, and I mean this is just for anybody who can see it, and for Brian or whatnot. Like, this is the Wonder Girl cover, one of the Wonder Girl covers. I'm trying to it's blurry. Can it not blur? Can I like tap and make it not blur? I don't know.
Yeah, screen glare.
Fucking gorgeous. I can't get over how beautiful she is.
What? Wait, who is that? Who'd you say?
Yara Flor is her name. She's Wonder Girl. They were calling her Wonder Girl. She was the future state Wonder Woman. God, I can't get a good picture of it. But that is the Comics Elite exclusive cover. I'm going to do some promoting real quick. Comics Elite exclusive cover. Beautiful artwork. Beautiful cover. Comics Elite, go ahead and sponsor me.
So she's the new what?
Wonder Girl, not Wonder
Wonder
Woman. Wonder
Girl.
Wonder Girl. So that's it. Sorry, I just wanted to sneak that in there. I was looking. I took a glance at my phone. And I was like, "Oh, that cover! Oh."
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Matt, what are you talk about today, motherfucker?
So I've got three things that I'm actually going to talk about, but the first one
We
is
only
going
got
to be
time for
like
one,
a
bro. No, I'm just kidding.
the first thing is going to be a quick little glance over, and that being the Mighty Ducks Game Changers. They are on episode 9, either 8 or 9. I can't remember.
I still never caught up. I said that last episode I was going to catch up, and I didn't.
There's too many good things and not enough time.
There is.
Well, and I'm not gonna go over it too much. I'm just gonna tell you that, like, if you were a fan of the original movies, and that you grew up during that time period, you know how awesome the Mighty Ducks are. You know, the Flying V. I will say that this show does a very good job. In my opinion, I think that there's a lot of shows that try to come out. Yeah. Yeah, like I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of shows that miss the mark when they try to redo something, and I really believe that Game Changers is very good. The only thing that I have with it, and I mean I understand why they did it and how they did it, was that the Ducks are actually the bad guys now, because they've turned into the Hawks. They are the franchise that, or the team that wins all these championships, and they've won an
and you could
ungodly amount in a
kinda
row.
you could kind of tell that from like the third movie that they were starting to get more and more popular and more,
Yeah.
So I
Are these
mean,
like,
kinda-
are these supposed to be their kids or something? I thought it was going to be
Nah.
their kids.
No, so this is the same league but different kids. But
now
the
Ducks are
original,
the Hawks, basically.
yeah, the original cast, they've
it-
been making appearances.
Okay.
Not everybody, but Fulton, Banks, and a couple more.
I remember him saying that
Emilio
Joshua.
Estevez.
Yes,
Emilio
did.
does.
He-
I'll say, dude, like
Um,
I was really questioning about having him in it, or how they were going to make it. I think that his story arc in this is really good.
He's in
I,
it?
I still
Yes.
thought that
Oh.
it would have been cool to have Joshua Jackson be the new coach for the new.
So
Ducks,
I mean,
but,
who the coach is, right? I
Yeah,
love
yeah,
that they brought in
Heather Graham, I think is her name.
No, the new Ducks coach. It's what's his
Riley.
name from
It's either Jonesy or Riley. I think it's Riley.
from
Riley from Letterkenny. Yeah.
yeah, Letterkenny.
And no, I meant
so,
Joshua Jackson being the
Right.
coach of the new team, like the
right.
the
The don't
team.
the don't care or
Bothers?
don't
Yeah,
bothers. There
Don't
we go.
Bothers, Yeah, I watched the
Um,
first 2 episodes of it.
Yeah.
So I just haven't caught up.
I really like it. I didn't think that I would, but it's really good. So if you're definitely a fan of the originals,
It's not Heather
you would
Graham.
like
What is
it.
her fucking name? The
I can't
Gilmore
remember.
Girls.
Yeah.
Mom. I can't remember.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't remember her name.
So the second thing that I'm going to talk about is Fear the Walking Dead. They got a new episode coming out tomorrow, which this is probably might be dropped either tonight or
It'll be dropped
tomorrow. So
today,
it's coming out
I
Sunday.
think. Yeah.
And I've already seen that one, but I want to talk more about last week's episode, which was episode 13. Because they're doing 14 and then 15 is going to be the last one. So 13 I love episode 13. Anybody who's listening knows how much I love the character John Dory. He was probably one of my favorite original characters in the series. And he had passed away, he had died, and but June ends up finding his dad, which there's a whole story arc about how his dad left him when he was a child and everything. But I thought it was really cool, and they both got to say goodbye to John, and it was a really nice episode. And then obviously episode 14, we're dealing with Alicia. Alicia is still with the Apocalypse cult that is ran. This is really cool. If you're a fan of if you're a fan, I guess I should put it like that. But if you like watching, like, what was the guy that had that cult in Africa that drank the Kool-Aid and everything?
Kim Jones.
Kim Jones. The guy, the leader of this group is like a Jones or a Marilyn Manson or Charles Manson kind of guy.
Super quick, do another plug. My wife listens to oh shit, she's gonna hate me right now. She listens to a podcast.
True crime
podcast. Oh my god. And it's called And That's Why We Drink.
The girls who drink.
It's called And That's Why We Drink. It's 2 girls. One of them does ghost stories and the other one does like true crime stuff. And it's a surprisingly good podcast. I thought, for some reason, she told me about it and she goes, yeah, it's called And That's Why We Drink. And I'm like, okay, don't take this the wrong way. But I'm like, okay, so it's 2 women sitting around drinking, bitching about stuff.
Yeah.
And I didn't mean it like that, but just being like, oh yeah, the world today. I thought it was gonna be something like that. I had no idea it was like a ghost story / true crime podcast. And I don't mean to sound sexist with that. I didn't mean it that way, but like I wasn't expecting it to be what it was. And it's actually a really good podcast. So if you're listening, get a chance. That's Why We Drink. Good show.
And I'm going to step off of that a little bit.
About
And
that guy,
one of the really cool things, Amanda, my wife, is also really into true crimes. And one of the great things that she introduced me to and I started following was Patton Oswalt's dead wife ended up helping solve the killer in California that they caught The one who's like super old. He was actually an ex-cop who strangled and killed. Like he was like
The Strangler or something, wasn't he?
something like that in California. I can't. It's not the Zodiac, but the
no,
other
they
one.
had a a Netflix documentary for him.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. And
Can't
and
remember
like
who it was. I want to say it was just the Strangler or something like that. I don't know.
and Patton helped finish her book, and then he helped
Dang.
with all these documentaries and everything, and they ended up catching him after she had passed. But like, yeah, the true crime scene was really cool. But anyways, so this apocalyptic cult is led by Tim Jones, or it's Tim Jones, isn't it,
I think so.
Brian?
Jim Jones.
Jim Jones. Yeah,
There
this
you go.
Jim Jones, Charles Manson kind of guy, who believes that the world is already dead and
It's
that
like
the
Doomsday
next
Cult we're talking
world.
about, right, or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And so my theory was correct. Spoilers for anybody who's listening who hasn't watched the episode that's airing tomorrow. Please, turn it off. The key that Morgan had found that's around his neck that the Doomsday Cult ends up getting is for a nuclear sub that has crashed ashore, and they're planning on launching a nuke using that key from the sub.
Damn it. I tried to take my headset off and put it away so I wouldn't hear the spoilies, but I heard it.
Which is, but it's
Not
really
quick
cool.
enough.
Like, I had a theory that that's what it was, and that's really cool that they're going that route. So yeah, if you haven't caught up on Fear the Walking Dead, or like Josh, if you're just now getting into the Kirkman universe, Fear the Walking Dead, the first season is but like it grows, like it gets much better. And I love the fact that I thought I wasn't going to like the fact that they brought Dwight and they brought Morgan over, but their stories have been great. I like Dwight as a character. I like him and Sherry. Their little story arc going on right now. It's going back to the previous episode. When they were at the so-called funeral for John Dory with June and John's father, they ended up saying, you know what, let's start over from scratch. Let's try to, really give this a go and see if we can't get back to what we had before Negan. So yeah, if you haven't caught up on it yet, definitely catch up on it. It's really, really good. So, but the final thing I am going to talk about, Brian, you may want to, if you don't want to hear any spoilers, me and Josh have already watched it, and I really liked it. And that's Army of the Dead, the new Zack Snyder film. And this goes back
some spoilies if we can.
Oh, listen.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I will say that me and Josh have actually talked about this for a year and a half, 2 years.
I feel like.
I mean, it's been a while since it was announced. So this movie was announced a long time ago.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I was like,
COVID,
this sounds
is what caused a lot of delays and stuff.
Yeah, and my phone's messing up. I'm trying to.
It sounded fucking stupid.
It
sounded
no.
fucking stupid.
So let me ask you,
about
Brian, if I here, let me lay out what was laid out to us. Okay, so let me tell you that there's going to be a zombie film coming out, right?
Yeah.
And that
Army of the Dead with Zack Snyder. Holy shit, right?
Right. Well, but let me tell you what the synopsis was that it was going to be about. It was going to be about a team that goes into Vegas during the zombie apocalypse to rob money from one of the casinos.
Now the zombie apocalypse is already going on.
Yeah.
Who cares about money?
Right.
Money's not going to do anything.
The idea is like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, everybody's going to be distracted by zombies. We can be rich.
What
money
good
means
is
nothing.
money? You're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I agree.
So like I was sitting there, I was like, they spent like $100 million on this piece of shit.
Right.
And it's got
and I
Dave
love
Bautista's
Zack Snyder, but I couldn't help but be
$100
like,
million
what is going on?
So like I love Zack Snyder. I like Dave Bautista, but I'm like him as the main character. I don't know about this.
Right.
I do love Bautista.
He turned down Suicide Squad for this movie. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Because of the fact that he was like, I was offered Suicide Squad from James Gunn, who I've worked with on Guardians. It would be a side character, or I was offered this from Zack Snyder, who I've never worked with before, and I would be the lead role in the big action movie. Like, so I took it. I took
and I'll give him props. I'll say first off that I wish they had done a different job at explaining the synopsis, because I feel like it might have turned a lot of people off.
Oh yeah.
Because it really did sound stupid. But it is Zack Snyder just put something about join in. Maybe he might be doing a watch party.
Oh,
Get to Twitter. He might
that'd
be
be
doing
cool.
a watch party. But now it makes sense on what the whole them having to go in here. So I'm not going to go into the reason why, because I know, Brian, you want to watch it. But it's a legitimate reason. The opening sequence, I love it. It gives it that zombie land kind of opening scene
dude,
feel.
the opening scene was so good. It was so good
Yeah.
because it really kind of gives you a point to point of
Background story.
where we got here, how we got here. Yes, without
And it's
really,
only like 5 minutes.
right.
You know?
And it's like the opening credits, but you're really getting a shot for shot of what went down to where we get to where we are now, which is
It's like you're watching Batman Begins in 5 minutes before you watch Dark Knight.
right.
But I will say that me and Josh have talked for years, and this kind of goes back to Kirkman. When Walking Dead was coming out, there was a DC equivalent, a zombie story. DC hadn't, to my knowledge, done a real zombie story since then or before then. And so they contracted with George R. Romero, which I'm a huge diehard Romero fan, and I know that Zack Snyder is as well. I will say that I'd be interested in looking up or talking to Zack Snyder to see if he took any influences for Army of the Dead from toe tags, because there's a lot of similarities there. You have this like upper class of zombies, and I can't remember their official name.
But they're like generals basically.
Yeah, and they're smart. They kind of run the rest of the dead zombies.
What is this Zach
and
doing all these weird platforms though? Like, I don't get why he runs on
Right.
such weird he's on Spaces. I've never even heard of that, but that's what he's on right
Yeah.
now. Doing the watch party thing. Just, I know this is gonna air.
It's
later.
crazy. But you have this like kind of higher class, higher intelligent zombies that run things, and they don't have a dead elephant that they travel on like toe tags, but they travel on dead horses. Like they're really trying to create like their own city kind of thing. Like they obviously don't communicate English or anything, but
I mean, I will spoil this part of it, Brian. The idea of I'm gonna spoil some of it. I don't care.
I'm
it's
allowing
not-
it.
It's not a zombie apocalypse.
yeah, they've
Las Vegas got hit and they walled it off. And so it's not an entire worldwide spread zombie
Okay.
apocalypse.
Oh,
Only
so that's why they
Vegas
want to go get the money.
is contained.
Well,
And it's-
yeah.
but that
so
right there, I was like, that is where I was like, you should have fucking said that.
yeah, because it gives the people the wrong impression when they would look at the synopsis years ago.
Right.
But the one issue that I take away from it is the ending. So there's two endings. Josh
Brian,
actually
that's
brought
why
up
they
which
spoil these, so.
yeah. Josh brought it up, and I actually was thinking the same thing about the first ending, where the girl is that the daughter goes in to save.
So Batista and his daughter are going in there. The daughter's only going in there because there was this girl who went in to get some money to try to come back with like $5,000 or something like that. So she's like, that's life-changing money to me. It's like, okay.
Well, it's in order to get out of the camp.
The camp.
You have to pay your way to get out of there.
And so she's trying to hunt. She's trying to get this girl while Batista's doing his whole thing. She's trying to find this girl who got lost in there. And then, at the end, they're all coming out on this chopper. The chopper goes down, and we see Batista. We see the pilot.
The driver die.
We see the pilot. We see Batista. We see her, but we do not ever see that other girl. Never saw her body, if she lived or not. Never saw anything with her.
Yeah. Yep. And then, but the main issue that I have is the very ending. So, once again, huge spoilers. So Batista's bit, and I'll give it. It might be because he was bit by the main zombie leader, but he turns pretty much instantly. I mean, within 30 seconds of being bit. Whereas the the black guy, and I can't remember his name.
I can't remember his name.
Um,
I will say that I think personally, I think he should be the next Spawn. I like him as an actor. I
Yeah,
think he's
yeah.
really
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
good. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
he would fit that role perfectly.
Yes. But he is in the bank vault. Number one,
Yeah,
he finds a back
somebody-
way out.
Somebody
After
shuts him
th-
into the bank vault. This bank vault that was like insanely difficult to open took him like forever to open, and now
And they
suddenly-
only thought they only had
There's a
one
back
way
door.
out, but there's a back way out.
apparently
But he also comes out after they had nuked
Dude,
Vegas.
this is
So he
spoiling
comes
all the
out.
ending, Brian. The
Yeah,
whole
this spoils
ending,
all
so-
of it. But
Well.
he comes out after it's been nuked, and he's just first off he's just walking around
Right,
with
like
no
post
like
nuke, like right after a nuke,
No-
there'd be so much
yeah.
radiation there that you would die almost instantly when you came out of there. Like,
right.
It'd be fucking on fire. Yeah.
right.
Well, so but beyond that, he gets to this car, he steals this car, he gets to
he's
this
got all the
town.
money. He's got
He's got
all
all
this
this
bags of
money.
money
He gets to this town, he gets to this airport, he rents a
on
airplane.
a plane. Yeah,
He's on a plane, and then he goes to the bathroom, and all of a sudden he gets sick,
He's
and
like,
you
"Oh,
realize that
shit.
he's been
Oh,
bit.
Man, I
Like,
got a bite.
That's like that's the span of hours after he had
Hours.
been bitten. So like that's the only
Mhm.
real problem I have. Like it's a great movie. I like it a lot.
I actually
But-
thoroughly enjoyed it. Thoroughly
I-
enjoyed the movie.
I felt like that was the big missed point was how does Batista turn instantly, but this guy survives
Took
for
forever.
hours.
like
well, he
he's like-
survives for hours, and then he survives a nuclear blast.
and then he gets on a plane, and then he's just
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, by the way."
And now,
No,
Yeah.
and again, the only argument that I could make is in terms of Batista turning quicker was that he probably got really wrecked from the helicopter crash to where he just,
well,
like was dying. So then
Well-
he died. So then he switched quicker because he just.
I think
died.
I think that he'll say it's because he was bit by the leader. by that main
and
guy.
That's
But
true.
here's the thing: he got bit by him.
Dude.
Why didn't he turn into a smarter one? He turned into a regular one. If you go
think-
back
I
and
think-
look,
I
the
think he
regular
was
one's
still-
turned to yellow eyes.
I think he was still changing.
turning?
Like I think
Okay.
he was still turning. That's personal
Yeah.
opinion. I don't know.
Yeah, I could see that.
There's a
but
few-
like,
Yeah, there's a few flaws in the ending. I feel like, but like,
Yeah.
I wasn't upset with it. I
overall-
wasn't mad about it. I still
No.
thoroughly enjoyed the movie.
yeah.
Um,
Overall, I would definitely say that Josh, you might hate me for this, but I still say it's better than I never liked Sucker Punch. I'll
yeah, I
that's
won't
the
get into
one
that.
from him.
It's-
That's the
it's-
only
it's-
one from him that
The only
I
one from him
really.
I didn't like was the Owls of Al Ghul or whatever the fuck that was called.
I never watched that one,
Guardians of
so,
Al Ghul
yeah.
or something like that. Or I
Yeah.
don't remember what it was called, but
Well-
to me, that one wasn't that great.
So,
Sucker
but
Punch
but
is
like,
not for everybody, for sure.
yeah.
It's
But
got his
I
style. So.
it does. But I definitely think that number one, if you're a fan of his version of Dawn of the Dead, which going
Which
back to that,
it-
I hated that they were doing it because I'm a huge Romero fan. I was
Right.
so against
Oh,
that
I remember
movie. I
that.
thought,
Yep.
I was so mad that they were doing it.
And that dude, I still say to this day, I love Snyder and I'm a huge fan of him. But to this day, that first 10 minutes of the Dawn of the Dead remake is one of the best scenes
Mm.
out
Yeah.
there, in
Yeah.
my opinion, because
Yeah.
it just shows you the gravity of the way everything hits and how quick it all
Yeah.
hits and how
Quick it
insane
goes to
is.
shit.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, overall, I'm interested in if I ever meet Zack Snyder. I think of the litany of movies and litany things that I would have questions about. The number one thing I would ask is, because this goes back to the whole Kirkman Walking Dead thing, is I would ask Zack Snyder, okay, we know that you were a fan of Romero, that's why you redid Dawn of the Dead. Did you take some of toe tags when you made Army of the Dead? Because I'm really interested in that, because there are a lot of similarities. Anybody who has never read toe tags, you need to read toe tags.
That was the lovely. We picked up toe tags #1 instead of the Walking Dead #1.
Yeah.
Because we were like,
Yep.
hey, George Romero, who's this fucking guy? Okay.
Yeah, who does black and white? This is fucking Romero, zombie god.
Mhm.
And so I'd be interested in seeing if he took some inspiration from that or took some things from it, because that's the one thing that I did like about toe tags, was it was such a new idea and such a different take, even from things that Romero normally does. He's
Right.
never done anything like that. Never did anything like it afterwards.
He liked to
Um,
evolve the zombies, and I
Yeah.
like that concept of not just
Yeah.
being like, oh, they just die off. It's like, no, they evolve. That's what happens. Like, and I like that.
Yep.
People didn't
And so,
like that they were gradually getting smarter through his movies. You know what I mean? Like
Well,
they were stupid. Like Dawn of the Day, they were getting a little bit smarter. Day of the Dead, they were teaching him to shoot. What was the next one? Land of the Dead, they were actually like kind of communicating. Like
yeah.
they were getting smarter.
Yeah. So, and then the that's all I've got for this week. But I will say that I've got a buddy of mine that I work with that if he's listening to this episode, he keeps telling me, and I need to check it out. Josh, I don't know if you've seen this, or Brian, if you've seen this, but Netflix dropped Jupiter's Legacy.
Yeah, I've not watched it yet. I've heard
seen that.
mixed things about it. I've heard good
Yeah.
things, but I've heard not good things. So I've been
Well,
kinda
and my buddy at work, he's a big fan of The Boys. He watched Invincible. I talked to him into watching Invincible. He fucking loved it. You know, so I trust his opinion on it, and he said it's good.
right.
You know,
I watched
so
like 10 minutes of it, and it was super cheesy.
yeah. So
But
well,
I'm sure
apparently it
it's
gets
just 10
better.
minutes of it. So right. So I'm not.
So
I'm not
if
mad at it
anybody-
or anything,
If anybody who's listening has watched Jupiter's Legacy, shoot an email,
shoot that email,
to see what
in the den at gmail.com. I want to test something at the end of this actually. So go ahead.
Yeah. That way, tell us what you think of Jupiter's, because I'm going to try to watch it before next episode and give it a breakdown. So, and I still haven't watched The Bad Batch, man. Once again, you get caught into.
I never finished Clone Wars, so I would feel weird watching The Bad Batch if I haven't finished Clone Wars.
I didn't know it was going to be like a cartoon. I was excited for it, but I didn't know it was going to be like that.
Right. And that's why I was like,
Well,
I didn't finish Clone Wars, so I feel weird watching that if I haven't finished Clone Wars.
Well, and to be honest, I have been this whole it's like week, 2 weeks, I've been absolutely enthralled with what's going on with Dogecoin and all the Dogecoin universe. So that's where my attention's been.
I
So
can't seem to get out of fucking Robert Kirkman's ass right now, apparently.
yeah. So
and
and that's it for me.
so
I think it's possible though. In about 5 years, we might be millionaires with Dogecoin.
So, I mean, it's true. It could. It took quite a hit recently, but that's because it shut down the Chinese market. But I think it'll still keep growing, especially if Elon actually develops what he's talking about and goes the way he's trying to go. I think it could take a. I think it could. So I want to do something before we close out here. I ordered the people who make. So let me backtrack here. Image Comics is run by Todd McFarlane. If you guys don't know this, Image Comics is run by Todd McFarlane. Robert Kirkman joined as Robert Kirkman is the only like 5 main people who help run it, who's not one of the original group that started it, because Robert Kirkman is just that fucking badass. He also started his subsidy company like within it called Skybound. Skybound produces a lot of Kirkman's stuff and some other stuff. But they run what's called the Skybound Expo. They do like their own version of like Comic-Con, but it's just online stuff where they do panels and they talk about stuff that's coming out. And then they also offer during those expos, they offer these mystery boxes, these Skybound mystery boxes. So I'm going to try something here today. I ordered a couple of those mystery boxes. I want to see who's actually listening. I want to see if there's anybody really listening to the end and really listening to us. So one of the things I got in there, this isn't crazy. It's not anything super nuts, but this is a Lucille Patrol Governor figure. Okay. Now,
and it looks like a GI Joe. That's awesome.
That's the point. Is this whole Lucille Patrol line is meant to look like the old school GI Joe figures. So not crazy. It's not like it's worth $5,000 or anything, but I want to see if anybody's listening. So if you email me thecowsintheden@gmail.com. You can actually go to the Cows Den website and find the contact information there. Email me. The first person to email me your name and address, I will just send it to you. It's yours for free. It's just a figure I got. I actually got
I'm gonna go
uh,
email you right now.
Yeah,
got more than I got more
That
than
toy is
one.
badass.
I
Like,
got
that
more
looks
than
really
one.
cool.
So, and Matt, I mean, I got more than one. So,
We'll see. We'll see. But if we get
but
somebody to
if
email
we get
you,
somebody to email me, I'll send
That'd
it
be
to you.
cool.
I'm just trying to see who's listening, trying to see how many people, because we get numbers, but I mean, we talked about that Dick Crim, and if we could get a few people to email, and I haven't heard anything, and that's, I mean, I don't know if people just didn't want it, or if they're not really listening. So I'm just trying to gauge if we can get somebody to respond here. So it is
Yeah,
a
feedback.
Lucille Patrol governor. Um, it's I mean, it's a pretty dope little toy, but yeah, if you email me name and address, no, let me reiterate on this though. Within the United States, I'm not sending it
Yeah,
to another
a lot of
country.
money.
I don't have that kind of money. I'll be glad to spend $5 or $10 to mail it to you.
come on, you're not a millionaire yet.
But
We
no,
make
5
millions
years.
off this show.
and you know
So
what I would really
much.
love though is, again, if you guys are listening, send us some feedback, send us some suggestions, send us some comments, something that you
Send up
either
some
think
critiques, you
some
know.
critiques. Yeah,
Mhm.
if there's something you're not enjoying, if there's something that you think we should work on, if there's something that you think we should talk about, just something.
Yeah,
Just
we'll
some
take
input.
requests.
But yeah, I really want to. I wouldn't mind once we get more viewers, once we get more stuff going, maybe we'll start a Patreon or something. I wouldn't mind doing some comic giveaways. I've got a few little more rare comics that I've got doubles of that I don't mind giving away. Now, I mean, this would mean probably with the Patreon or something. I'm not giving away like a couple $100 comic for for nothing.
Well, and I also I got out of collecting when I started getting kids, but I still have some older comics.
And I'm talking,
That
you don't need to
would
throw out your
love
personal
to.
collection, but
No, but there's some like I'm not going to give away my Walking Dead 100, but
right, or my
some of the stuff that's
fucking edge
really
stuff.
cool,
Right.
that still is valuable, but I'm definitely down for that.
So if you guys want that, if anybody listening wants something like that, just shoot me the email. Email is the Cows in the Den, but also just the Cows Den website. That's my blog, personal blog with the comic reviews. So if there's contact information on there. Just whoever first person I get an email from that shoots me their name and address, I will send you one for free. For that governor. Other than that, I think we're good for the week, guys. I think we're done, right? So let's
Good.
like I said, I'm extremely grateful to you guys, everybody who does listen. Again, we are getting some listeners in different areas. And like I said, other countries though, I'm trying to keep this sending thing through the US. So I think that about does it. You guys tune in next couple weeks. We'll get another episode out and we'll talk more stuff then. Thank you guys again for listening. You guys enjoy your day. Later.
Later, bitches.